Hello, Miss Sarah Breen. I hope you're doing well. This is going to be a video makeup lesson for the lesson you missed in the beginning of April. Today, we're going to be, like every video lesson, we're just going to be focusing on some fundamentals. Today specifically, I think it would be helpful if we worked on some variations of the 5-note C scale and maybe transferring that skill to the 5-note D minor scale, which is the same thing, 5 white keys starting on D. That's a weird noise. This piano needs help. So to start off, what I'd like you to do is go to the piano and just do a quick warm-up, one hand at a time, up and down on the 5-note C scale. Making sure our fingers are nice and curved. You're playing with your fingertips. Your fingers don't raise too high off of the keyboard while you're playing. I see a lot of students do this. And while that might be comfortable because you're getting a bit more velocity while you're playing, it can raise some complications. That's why a lot of people look at their hands while they play. It's because they're lifting so much that they lose their anchor point, which is your thumb on C for this example. So when you're playing, try to keep your hands almost glued to the keyboard to make sure it's ergonomic while you're playing. So, the exercise, C, D, E, F, G, F, E, D, C. Once you've done that a couple of times, do it with your left hand. Same idea, curved fingertips. Doing your best not to lift your fingers off of the keys while you're playing. That way you have this anchor point, which is now your thumb on G. Now, a little bit of lift is fine, especially when you're going faster. But that's an example of how to do it wrong. Try to keep it tight. A great way to practice this is by making your notes short and punchy. We call that accented in the music world. Put your hands together and do it. Another great exercise I'm going to have you do, this is going to be a big bulk of the lesson, is something I came up with where it's the 5-note C scale, but there's going to be one note planted the entire time. What I mean by that, and I'll show you in this example. Let's say you're playing a 5-note C scale, but while you play it, you're only going to be using 4 notes because the 5th note is going to be held down the entire time. So for this example, I'm going to hold down the note C, and then I'm going to do the same exercise starting from D going to G with just fingers 2, 3, 4, and 5. D, E, F, G, F, E, D, E, E, Hold down C, play D, E, F, G, and going back down, G, F, E, D. So having this anchor point forces your fingers to stay close to the keyboard. That's why this exercise is great. So holding C, D, E, F, G, F, E, D, E, F, G, F, E, D. Once you do that a couple of times, excuse me, my morning coffee's fighting back. So, once you've done that, change the anchor point. Hold down D. And then do the 5-finger scale with 4 fingers using every other finger. So now we're using the thumb, middle, ring, and pinky. So we hold down D, and we go C, E, F, G, F, E, C, E, F, G, F, E, C. Even if the note D isn't ringing out, that's fine because our finger is still pressing it down. So D is not sounding on the piano right now, but I'm still holding it down for the sake of the exercise. And now we do it again. We're going to go across all 5 fingers. So now we're holding E down. This is the one I find the hardest for whatever reason. You think it'd be easy because it's symmetrical, but I find it difficult. So holding D, the notes we'll be playing are C, D, F, and G. So holding E, C, D, F, G, F, D, C. Doing this like pentatonic sounding scale, which we'll get into that eventually, but it's a scale. Now we're going to move on to F. I don't know if you've noticed the pattern yet. Holding F, we're playing the notes C, D, E, and G. This one's difficult because the ring finger is always people's weakest finger. Make sure we're keeping our notes punchy and short. And we're doing our best to keep our fingers close to the keyboard. You can see I have a little bit of lift, but yeah, that's not the end of the world, as long as we're not flying off. You know. So now we're going to hold G while we do it. And this one's relatively simple, because we're just using C, D, E, F, E, D, C. Now, we're going to try it with our left hand, and I'll make this one quick. In our left hand, same thing, C scale. We're going to hold down our first finger and do the other 4. Holding down our second finger. Middle finger. Finger. I told you this one always goofs me up. So, if you can't do it, slow it down. That's the trick with music. If you can't do it, slow it down. Holding down our pinky now. Now, hands together. This is a little complicated. The way I do it is by holding the same finger down in both hands. So if we're doing both hands together, I'm holding down G in the left hand, and I'm holding C in the right hand. I'm going to go opposite directions. So, let me break this down. Holding G in the left hand, C in the right hand, and then we're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5. So the notes we'll play are F in the left, D in the right, E in the left, E in the right, D in the left, F in the right, C in the left, G in the right. Sorry that was fast, but we're just going for this example. Next finger, holding down second finger in both hands. Same idea. Middle finger. Ring finger. This is going to be tricky. I might make a mistake. So what do I do? I slow it down. Holding pinky. I'm going to give you one more exercise, even though this is plenty to practice, where we hold down the same note. So now I'm going to hold C in both hands, which is pinky and thumb. And we're going to go the same direction. So both hands will be playing D, E, F, G. we're going to hold D in both hands. E in both hands. Slowing it down because I made a mistake. I need to practice that one. Holding F in both hands. G in both hands. And that's going to be it for this video lesson. That should be plenty to practice. It should open up your fingers and get you finger independence, because piano, you have 10 fingers, which means you have 10 different instruments at your disposal. And having independence between each finger is what makes you a good piano player. So practice that. Stay practicing. Happy practicing. And I will see you on Saturday for the Music Mastery Festival. Have a great week. And practice. Go Vikings.